All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, everyone. Mr. Dankert, take the roll call, please.
Mayor King.
Present.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Present.
Councilmember Baskin.
Present.
Fisher.
Present.
Pashusta.
Present.
Helly.
Present.
Postma.
Present.
Baker.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Item number one is a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number two is a motion approving the minutes from November 6th, 2023 meeting, as well as November 16th, 2023 meeting. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to number three is under recognitions and awards. Kathy Saratori is here from the Marks and Park Baseball Association. Welcome.
I am here, I'm a volunteer for Marks and Park. I've been a volunteer for many years and that kind of thing, and so this is a big thank you. The Marcus and Park Board would like to take this association, like to take this opportunity to thank you for helping us to update our field lighting. The LED lighting was badly needed to replace the old lighting to keep the park viable and safe for baseball and lots of other activities. This year, we were finally able to complete the loan payment to the city that you made possible. It's taken us about half a dozen years, a lot of raffle tickets, a lot of bingo, a lot of everything, and a lot of support of just a really wide variety of amazing volunteers that make the park possible. So through your partnership with the City of Austin, many area businesses, and so many amazing volunteers, Marcus and Park continues to be an amazing asset to the community in so many ways, not just baseball, but concerts. The canoe launch is down there. Disc golf was added over to the area. The walking paths for bikes and walkers. You have no idea how many people take a lunch break down there. It's amazing, just to take a break from the day. And then there's gazebo, and the park is right next door, and across the street is the courts across the street. So all these things just make that whole area just a wonderful asset to the community. So again, we just appreciate your support. We couldn't do a lump sum to do it all at one time. You made it very, very possible to make the upgrades that were needed. So thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. It's definitely a gem for Austin. Do I have my facts right that was the first stadium with LED lights in the whole state of Minnesota to go all LED? That's amazing.
That was one of Hormel's, the foundation helped us with the other leg of it, and that was one of their things. They wanted us, if we were going to do it, they wanted us to spend extra money and to do it, so it would be in place for a lot of years.
Excellent.
And it's really been wonderful too, because the cost savings too,
Right.
Versus the old system, it's just like, it's kind of amazing. You know, those lights, the old lights, when they were on, you could tell anywhere in the city of Austin that there was a game that night. I mean, really, it was like, you know, into the night sky. Now it's like, you know, this field lighting, to actually do something down there is, I mean, because there were dark spots that were making the field unsafe for night play. And so, there were dark spots down there. There got to be so many dark spots because the old system would just kind of like, the lights had burned out, they couldn't be replaced, the ballasts were bad, you know, they just couldn't be like replaced anymore. And so the new lighting makes it so that on the field, it's just amazing. And then we kind of lost our parking lot lighting. It used to shine over to almost the gazebo kind of thing. I mean, the old lighting was unbelievable, but we lost a lot of the lumens on the field, you know, so to speak. But anyway, but this system, it's amazing. We can turn the lights on and they're done. They're on an instant. The old system, you had to wait for them to kind of warm up. So it's like, I remember one time before we got the lighting, we did a concert, art festival concert, and we had to wait for the lighting to kind of like come back on at the end of the concert for people to kind of see their way out of the park. And then the next time we did it, it's like you just flip the switch and the light's just on, and you know, it was kind of amazing. So yeah. Anyway.
Beautiful.
So thank you.
Well, thank you for your work on the association. Appreciate it, Kathy. Also under recognitions, where we have Representative Patty Mueller here to say a few words about family medical leave. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you so much, and it was great to see so many of you with Chief McCoy at the fire burn yesterday, and so that was really fun. So I wanted to do a really quick update. Since the last time I saw you, I have a couple of things to just very briefly to talk about. I've spent my summer kind of traveling around to all the DOC prisons and the state prisons just to look at what some of their bonding requests are going to be. And Mayor King, as you know, our DOC is in desperate need of money, and some of that is that we have about $650 million of deferred maintenance, and this isn't like getting a new basketball court or anything like this. This is literally, there's holes in windows that are being covered by tarps. And so this is something, as I'm going to be looking in the 24 session, that I'm going to be pretty strong about prioritizing, making sure that we're able to have some of our facilities be upgraded so that we're able to make sure our IPs, our inmates, are able to be rehabilitated. 90% of those people will come out, and when they do, they have to be people. And I just wanted to be making sure that it's very clear the programs that are provided within those facilities are funded differently. Bonding is what would be doing for their facilities. And so core function of government, something I'll be definitely be a strong proponent for. Outside of that, we did have the bonding committee from the House come down, and many of you were there. I know Jason Baskins was there, and we brought them to about several different of our projects here in town. They're at the Hormel Institute looking at the bioimaging lab, and they're also at, excuse me, Riverland looking at their bonding request. Blooming Prairie had a bonding request. SimCAC had a bonding request, and then we also had bonding, oh lordy, Head Start was it, and I can't believe there was one other, and of course it's gonna, it's not gonna come to me at this moment in time. But Austin and our surrounding areas were well represented, and they were very impressed to see some of, many of our projects, and so hopefully those will be high priorities for us. The main reason why I wanted to be able to talk to you today is that finally we've been able to do some auditing of the paid family leave law that was passed in May. This is different, let me be very clear, this is different than ESST, which is going into effect in January. ESST is Earned Sick and Safe Time, which is going to be a separate program, mandatory program that is going to be effective in January. In 2025, which was signed into law, mandatory paid family leave, which is a 0.7 payroll tax that will be divided between job creator and employee, will be mandated on all of our businesses that have at least and nonprofits that have at least an employee of one, and that person has to work at least 80 hours a year, and this is up to 20 hours of paid leave. What we had originally thought was going to be a 0.7 payroll tax. After the doing third-party auditing, they found out that the initial fiscal note was off by $623 million, which means it's about 0.78 payroll tax. This is when the proponents of this bill was like, oh, look, we're off by less than 1%. But I don't know about any of you small business owners. If you're off by $623 million, you don't stay in business very long. So this is something that I'm going to be incredibly vocal about in 24. We also were able to look at a third-party auditing system that would look at how much this would cost our school districts, because of the fact that this applies to all of our government employees as well. Our school districts in the state, it will cost them an unpaid mandate. This will cost them about $76 million. So divide that by 2. That means that our employees of our school districts will be picking up that cost as well, which will be frustrating for several of our people who are under, in the union as they are negotiating their own benefits. Now, basically, they have to take about 1% off of what their earned income would be, and just subtract about a percentage of that after this is taken off. So something that I've been trying to tell all of my city councils, I've been going around the district and just kind of remembering and reminding them this is happening. This won't take place until 2025, but as the third party auditor looked at it, they saw that this will continuing to increase because it is not going to be self-sustaining until it continues to increase. In the initial bill, the commissioner of DEED had carte blanche authority to raise that without going through legislature at all, up to about 1.2%. We'll be able to see what that looks like for y'all, but at that point, that's something that I'm going to be strongly advocating that it still has to be legislatively approved. and that we are going to look at the federal definition of small business, which is 50 and below, and that this does not apply to our small businesses, because I believe this is going to be a huge burden for our small businesses. So if you have any other questions, I would be happy to answer those for you. I know that this was an addition for you, and so I appreciate you taking that time. Since this is now the second or third time you've seen me in the calendar year, we start back up on February 12th, and so you probably won't see me again until May when I'm done with session, but you always know where to find me, and you're more than welcome to come on up and see me up at session. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Mueller. Appreciate the update. Council, any questions for her? All right. Come anytime. Thank you, Patty. Moving on to item number 4 is a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the public hearing portion. Number 5 is a resolution reviewing the currency exchange license application from Tienda Guerrero, approving the currency exchange license. Ann?
This is our annual review of the currency exchange for Tienda. They've had this license since 2013. We haven't received any complaints on this license, so if the council had any questions, I could answer that. Otherwise, I would request that you approve it.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tom? Oh, anybody here from public wishing to discuss this issue? Item number 5, the currency exchange license, Tienda Guerrero. Hearing none, we got a motion and a second. Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Bashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yep.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Under petitions and requests, item number 6, resolution approving the grant amendment number 3 to the Community Flood Risk Reduction Grant with the Minnesota DNR. And also there, 6A, city appreciation of Pat Lynch for his work on the flood control projects. Stephen?
Thank you. The first item there, item number 6, is related to additional dollars for the wastewater treatment plant project. We have an ongoing grant with the DNR. It started in 2018 when we were awarded $1,125,000 for work on phase 1 of the North Main Flood Control Project. That was right here across the road near the YMCA. There were additional funds remaining after that project was complete, and we had completed an amendment with the DNR to roll those remaining dollars over toward wastewater treatment plant levee design. The design is nearly complete, and now we are getting nearing toward construction. So in front of you tonight is amendment number 3 for this overall grant, which would add $4 million to the pot of funds for the construction of this project. This $4 million would be paired with $4 million from our local option sales tax to construct the 2-phase project at the wastewater treatment plant. It's our goal to protect the infrastructure that we are completing down there right now with our $100 million treatment plant upgrade, and work through this project with likely construction of those 2 phases in 2025 and 2027. So we would request approval of amendment number 3, granting $4 million toward this community flood reduction grant.
Right on. This is great news, Stephen. Appreciate that news. Council, any questions, Mr. Lang? Otherwise, look for a resolution to approve it.
So moved.
Second. Thomas?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Bashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
You bet.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
All right, now Stephen wishes to acknowledge Pat Lynch for his work in helping Austin through some flood challenges. Stephen?
Yes, so before we introduce Pat, I want to talk a little bit about how we got to this point today. And often we don't take time to reflect back on the things that have been done to improve our community, because we are always looking forward onto the next project and onto the next big thing. So I wanted to take this opportunity to look back at our community's flood mitigation efforts and the positive impacts that have occurred with the assistance of many partners, one of which being Pat Lynch from the DNR. We have been working with Pat to secure flooding to secure funding through the DNR's flood hazard mitigation program since the mid-2000s. So it really coincides with when our local option sales tax came into play. Pat is planning to retire on February 2nd of 2024. So this is likely the last grant approved by the council with Pat's assistance. And we wanted to take this opportunity to look back on all the accomplishments we have made with this great funding partnership. Others here to mark this milestone are John Erickson, our former city engineer, Brad Wozniak, he was our lead engineer with SEH on the North Main Flood Mitigation Project. Cody Fox is here representing the Moore County SWCD. They also are the administrator for the Cedar River Watershed District, so they play a key role. Things that they have done is they have also, along with the city, the Cedar River Watershed District has also worked with Pat on funding for water impoundments upstream of the city of Austin, with a goal to reduce flows coming into Austin by 20%. I could go on and on with city staff like Tom Dankert handling finances and our lost account, to our street and sewer departments for their ongoing maintenance of these facilities. But with that said, it really takes a team to do a big project like this. But it all starts with funding, and that's where Pat has excelled for our community. So just running through to give a little history over the last 15 plus years since the mid-2000s. We've acquired 60 scattered site acquisitions. We've completed the North Main Flood Mitigation Project, the Turtle Creek Flood Mitigation Project, and as I said, with this grant that was approved tonight, that'll set us up for construction of the wastewater treatment plant levee system. All of that work been completed in the last 15 to 17 years. When we look at all of those different projects, we had them all itemized out, and we looked at funding sources. How are we going to do all of this work? And that's where the DNR and the flood hazard mitigation program played a big role. You can see that our overall project, we have many of these projects are completed there on the far right. Our next big one, again, the treatment plant, which is going to be ongoing. Total project cost for all of this work is over $47 million. And over 17 million of that came from the DNR with help from Pat Lynch and their flood hazard mitigation program. Remembering back what started all of this in the last 15 to 16 years is our flood of record that occurred in 2004. Sometimes I remember it like it was yesterday. There's probably others here in the room that remember it just the same. And there's also new people to our community that don't realize the flooding that occurred. Next year, it'll be a 20-year anniversary. Sometimes crazy to think, but it's important that we remember these things so everyone, whether new or old to our community, recognizes the flood impact, where our money is going, and the improvements that we are doing to make our community more resilient. Here's our North Main Flood Control Project. You can see in the lower right-hand corner, that was the morning after the flood waters had crested, and you can see the impact of businesses, the old YMCA, I believe that was the old Arc of Moore County located there in the center, North Main Street right in the center of that, all of that flooded, and the impacts not only to those local businesses, impacts to our infrastructure, impacts to just people's lives being able to get to and from work and closures of that, and how now today we drive down North Main Street and our goal with these projects is that people don't even remember what it used to look like. That's a positive for us when we make such a great improvement that it's something people enjoy, they appreciate, and they don't even remember what it used to look like. I'm sure if you were impacted, lived there, worked there, you remember, but our goal is to try to make an improvement. So we did a road raise here in a 2-foot flood wall with an invisible wall section, and it's turned out to be a really marquee portion of our project. This is looking north from the pool. Down there in the lower left-hand corner, you can see just how impactful the floodwaters were and how everything looks today with our project complete. Also included was site acquisition. That was a very important part of this as well. if you all remember Jim's Super Value on the east side, I think water was up 3 or 4 feet on the front windows of that building. It was a successful project where we were able to acquire the business, relocate them up to higher ground, keep that business in town, and create a viable business going forward, and also transform that property into open space, property that is not negatively impacted during a flood, and again, just making our community more resilient. Here's a photo down along Turtle Creek. That's Mayor Bonnie crouched down in the lower right-hand corner, looking at the impacts of the Turtle Creek flood back in 2004, and how this wall of this home was washed in. You can see Turtle Creek in the background. I imagine this is very soon after the flood. The river has already, Turtle Creek has already gone back into its banks, but you can see the devastation that it left behind, the impact to that property owner, and how that took months for them to fix and deal with all of those issues that come from a flood. And now today, the larger picture showing the flood berm there behind, protecting this home from future flood impacts. And sometimes those are just the small details that we don't think about, or we don't go back to look at, is those personal impacts to property owners, and how it, I imagine that person, I can assume that every time it rained after that, they were wondering what's gonna happen, how high is the river gonna be? They were probably calling Mr. Erickson wondering how high the water level was gonna get, until they had a comfort level with things. But there's just a psychological impact that goes along with flooding that it's hard to put a dollar figure on. I mentioned the Soil and Water Conservation District and their work with the Cedar River Watershed District. They have a CIP plan to create impoundments or water storage areas upstream of Austin to hold water during a rain event and then slowly discharge it, all trying to reduce that peak water elevation coming through Austin. They've been very successful with their program. In the bylaws of the Cedar River Watershed District, there was a goal, among other things, there was a goal to reduce flooding into Austin by 20%. And I believe that with these impoundments and their CIP plan, they're getting very close to that. This as well had funding support from Pat Lynch and the Flood Hazard Mitigation Program. So here, just a quote, something coined by, again, John Erickson, our former city engineer, that by spending time and energy toward flood mitigation today, we can lessen the cost of disaster to our community tomorrow. And that was something that was coined very early on in the local option sales tax process, spreading the word to businesses, community members, organizations to try to rally support behind the program. And you can read those words today and know that they still apply very closely to what we have done and things that we still have yet to do. So all of that, like I said earlier, takes a team. A lot of it is, when we developed this plan, it was how are we going to fund it? And again, local option sales tax has played a key role, but as you can see from that funding breakdown, the state flood hazard mitigation program has also played a really large role. So our key contact in that this whole time has been Pat Lynch, and we really wanted to recognize him for all of the work that he did for us behind the scenes. Talking about behind the scenes work, I asked Justin Hansen. He served prior to Cody as administrator at the Soil and Water Conservation District, worked closely on a lot of these projects with Cody. And Justin wasn't able to make it tonight, but he said Justin took a new job with Bowser up at the state. And his comment was, now that I'm with the state and working with the statewide grant program, it's clear that Pat did a lot of work behind the scenes on my behalf. He made grant administration easy, and I always wondered how he did that. He made it happen. It was harder for him, and it meant more work. I'm positive that the city of Austin benefited from the same experience. Please share my regards with the council. So I mentioned some other folks that are here tonight. Before we invite Pat up, I'd ask if any of them want to speak at all, give their experience. Otherwise, we will turn it over to you, Mayor and Pat.
John Erickson, I think, wanted to say a few words. Oh, boy.
So, as I'm cleaning out my basement, I don't know how many people remember this. I might give it to Steven. Hopefully he won't throw it away. That was the campaign motto in 2000, after 2004, so it was in 2007. Tons of local support. Jeff Baker, important, Chamber of Commerce, got behind this, and you think back, and people are voting for a tax, and it was delivered. $47 million spent on this program, and it was successful. So everyone was really great stewards of this project. Pat, thank you. It was wonderful to work with Pat all those years. I think back, and I think, you know, tonight's grant, $4 million. 2004, the flood. I sent Steven out to the treatment plant to protect the treatment plant in 2004. We had backhoes digging out at the Cook Farm, bringing material in to protect the treatment plant, and it was like a Hail Mary that we saved it. And today, we're getting a grant to do it right, you know, so what is it, 2023 and 2004? 19 years later, it fortunately hasn't flooded. It was saved in 2004, and now we're doing it right. How appropriate is that? And so, wonderful thing. So with that, Pat, thank you. You were wonderful to work with. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Austin, for doing it right and for delivering on what we said we'd do in 2004.
Thank you, John. And Steve, an excellent presentation. We do need to be reminded of where we came from, but that is a super impactful presentation. Cody, you'd like to say a few words?
Yeah, Cody Fox of the Cedar River Watershed, and kind of like Pat, I'm not one for getting up in front of people and doing the recognition, but Pat probably wouldn't be a guy to stand up here, but he's done an excellent job working with us and for us on our behalf. And you know, like Justin said, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And when we came in, we felt a little bit of pressure because, you know, we hadn't done any of this flood work. I mean, the city had done their stuff. The flood kind of embankment stuff was new for this whole area of Minnesota. And Pat was, you know, he was just great to work with all along the way. And little did I know, when Steven said some of the people weren't from around the area. I wasn't. I've lived in southern Minnesota my whole life, but actually interviewed down here in 2010. I drove through floods from Brookings all the way to Austin. Little did I know, like 7 years later, I'd be working in the flooding projects, which it's pretty cool because I remember looking and weaving lanes, 13 years ago or 14 years ago, whatever it was. But just very neat, and I've had just a great amount of pleasure working with Pat, and he's just been fantastic to work with. We wouldn't be anywhere where we are today without his work and his trust, honestly. And I guess the one thing I can say is our success from probably the city, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but also the Cedar River Watershed's behalf, our success is really his success because he was a big part of that. There's many people that come about for all these things, and we just appreciate his patience and work with us over the years. And we're hoping that even as he steps away, we continue to move forward. And probably part of that is because of the relationship built with him. So appreciate it, Pat.
Anybody else like to speak? All right. I want to read the certification of appreciation for Pat Lynch. The City of Austin would like to recognize Pat Lynch, Minnesota DNR floodplain hydrologist and flood hazard mitigation grant program manager, for his outstanding assistance and support to the City of Austin's flood mitigation program. Pat, thank you. And after your words, we do have a key. I'd like to present you with the key to the city too as well.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Very humbling. You guys did all the heavy lifting. Honestly, I was just the funding guy. It took a lot of planning, a lot of hard work, local commitment, like you said, the lost tax. You guys did all the work. So when he says Pat Lynch did, I didn't give you a nickel. Everyone in this room who pays taxes contributed to the funding down here. But I'll say, I was really fortunate that when I started, one of my first stops was down here. You know, the city had already had experience in flooding and in our programs. It's probably with maybe Ed Fick, I don't know, or somebody, my predecessor, but I learned some things about how to do my job from John. So I'm really happy to be here. You guys have done some great work. I've enjoyed working with the engineers. You hire good people and you get good work. And Brad Sharp, I mean, you guys probably know, he's been at it for a while. He's older than he looks, and he's a seasoned veteran. Working with Tom, and like I said, John, Stephen. There are very, very few questions I ever had about invoices over the years, and we went through a lot of invoices. They were good, and we use Austin as a model. I want to thank Stephen right here and now for participating in one of our DNR local government unit forums about a week or two ago. We get about 100 LGUs from all over the state, and Stephen was kind enough to present and be able to show the rest of the state what Austin's done and how they've done it. So it's been fun. I started. I'm talking to John tonight. I started about 6 months after the loss tax was approved by your citizens. So really happy to see the work done, and it's time for me to go and let somebody else do it. And we have hired my replacement. He hasn't started yet, and they haven't announced it yet. But I intend to get on a call and introduce him to Stephen down here and Cody. And maybe we'll do it at the same time, but he's going to be good, and I will remind him that we've got unfinished business in Austin because the position does have an awful lot of discretion in how the grant funding is allocated. And in fact, this year, so the $4 million for this grant, now that I think about it, I had 15 million at my discretion for statewide, so I'm really pleased that, quarter of that is right here, right now. So congratulations for all the good work you've done. So thanks. Like I say, it's very humbling.
Thank you for your partnership, Pat. Like Stephen said, we couldn't have done it without the funds, and you're the gatekeeper of that, so thank you. Please come forward if you could, Pat, for the key to the city and your certification of appreciation.
Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you again for that presentation, Stephen. That was awesome. We need a resolution approving the grant amendment number 3.
So moved. Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Bashusta.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
You bet.
Councilman at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0.
Thank you, Tom. Item number 7 is a motion appointing Tyler Husselbus to the Austin Utility Board, term expiring December 31, 2024. Nope. Did you have something on that? No? Any comments? No? Any questions, council? I was looking for.
Great addition to the board. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8 is a resolution approving a statement for work with Assessment Internationals for employee 360 evals. Good.
Well, thank you, Mayor and members. This is a proposal from Assessments International to conduct 360 evaluations. We have 33 supervisory employees that we'll be conducting the evaluations on. The total amount is $52,840 for the services provided and outlined in the agreement in the packet. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council, questions?
Well, I understand that the employees have some input on this, so can we invite them up to do that at this time?
Sure. How many would like to speak? One? Yeah. Please come forward. Make an exception. Number 8, so we got Chad Hurd.
Hi, I'm Chad Hurd, superintendent at the wastewater plant. I just have a statement in response to represent the employees of the City of Austin. It is undisputable amongst employees and council that the City of Austin has a trust problem. We have tried to trust in our leaders for years, our insurance, our contracts, now the latest development of the council's decision to hire a different company for the 360s, resulting in the loss of employee strategies. The employees have been attempting to build trust with administration through employee strategies plan, and once again, that trust is lost. This all began when employees were leaving the city employment on a regular basis. The council recognized the problems at the city and ordered an employee survey to be completed to try to increase employee retention and culture. We were skeptical, but we trusted. A company was selected, Employee Strategies, for the survey. There were 5 companies looked at, which were never made public. Administration determined that this was the best company to fix our problems. We knew nothing about this company, but we accepted the decision and we trusted. 122 of us took the time to answer the survey questions, even though we were skeptical. Some of us mailed the responses in because we didn't want our answers to be lost electronically. Some of us clicked the boxes that we were from different departments because we feared retribution over our answers, but we participated and answered. 11 of us participated in one-on-one interviews with Employee Strategies. 11 of us individually sat down with complete strangers and told our stories, one-on-one with 2 people we had never met before, and we were expected to completely trust these people with our feedback. 20 of us participated in 2 focus groups. Again, we sat down with complete strangers. We made sure we weren't being recorded. We spoke, and someone listened. It was amazing to have someone listen to our stories and ask questions and be heard. We were validated by Employee Strategies in the fact that our work environment is not healthy or normal. We spoke and we trusted. We went to the library on October 4th in our department groups for the results. Some of us went to different groups because we feared additional retaliation from administration for stating our opinion. The results were not a shock to us. We knew exactly the environment we work in. The results were the worst Employee Strategies had ever seen. We went and we trusted. At those meetings, Employee Strategies told us they were facing roadblocks from administration. They weren't sure if they were going to continue with us, but Mayor King had called them the previous week and reassured them that there would be no roadblocks. We told them we needed their help and that we trusted them. We built trust that Employee Strategies had a plan and things were going to get better. The council reviewed the Employee Strategies plan at the October 16th work session and recommended moving forward with the plan that included 360-degree reviews, a 2-day retreat with council, employees, and additional survey. We trusted in this plan. Then things changed. On the next council meeting, there was a proposal from Craig based on the recommendation of a council member to use Assessments International for the 360 reviews. Why would we even consider a different company to execute part of this plan to rebuild the culture at the city when we had already built trust with Employee Strategies? It was a completely foreseeable consequence that Employee Strategies would drop out after using another company for the 360s. In fact, we called it. We voiced our opinions that it was a bad idea and that we would like to stay with Employee Strategies because we trust them. We were not heard. Our trust was broken again. The trust that you have lost is much more valuable than the sum of money you may have tried to save or value you felt you were receiving. We believe that the council wants to fix this problem, if only for the blatant fact that we are losing employees on a regular basis to other government organizations, to similar positions. Decades of experience is walking out the door. Training new people is expensive. It is impossible to calculate the impact of a seasoned employee leaving, the priceless knowledge that left, the additional stress on the department, the time to find a replacement, and if they even want to work for the city, the cost of training that replacement, the impact of morale or employees. We are asking to be heard. We are asking for a better culture and effective communication. We are asking for the problems identified in the survey to be fixed, and those problems are not going to be fixed by the people that created the issue in the first place. We need employee strategies. We would respectfully request that the proposal of Assessment Internationals on tonight's agenda be tabled and the council attempt to get employee strategies back. This might only be accomplished by removing certain roadblocks that employee strategies have identified, and we support that as shown in the results of the survey. Thank you for listening and the consideration of our request.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, thank you.
Council, discussion.
I'll go ahead. At this point, we passed this at the last, we talked about going with Assessments International, and I've completely done a 360 since then and changed my mind about moving forward with a different company, just after doing some research and thinking about it. So I'm not okay with that. I'm also, it really saddens me to hear statements such as trust with leadership, that the working environment is not healthy or normal, that they fear retaliation for speaking, and that people that created the problem are looking for solutions in their own way. So with that, I want to just say that I do really express my sincere gratitude for all the employees and the valuable input that you do provide to us. I know you've spoken tonight and you've come to us individually with concerns. Your willingness to engage in open dialogue demonstrates a shared commitment. I want you to know that your opinion always matters and it's valuable to us. To me, personally, it's very valuable. And I want to thank you for your dedication to the city of Austin. I visited with many of you and your dedication is incredible through all of this. So with my appreciation, thank you. I also do take ownership in this. I think that things got too far before we took a good look at it, and now we are taking a good look at it. So I will let everybody else speak, but I do have a motion that I would like to put on the table when we're ready, so.
Council, further discussion?
Didn't employee strategies already tell us, turn us down, so we can't go back to them?
They did.
Why, and I don't understand really what is the reasoning that they turned us down? Why are they not willing to work with us? What's the real reasoning behind that?
You know, in the conversation we had with them, Joyce is assuring them that the plan was still the plan. But when council and department head spoke, they wanted more folks in the pool and go to 33 360s. And they said there was no economies of scale. I think Councilmember Baskin saw that as an opportunity to find a cheaper mousetrap. Came forward with it, unintended consequence. Yeah, they, I guess, either wanted it all or nothing. But the plan is still the same to move forward with a 2-day retreat, the reevaluations. It's just a different vendor will do the assessments 360, the 360 assessments. So, yeah, that's my take on it. As much as I assured them that we wanted to work with them, council voted unanimously to have that cost savings to do 33 employees, and that's where it ended.
I think there was some key information missing when the council last voted, which was the recommendation from employee strategy was actually for 1 or 2 360s, not 10 and certainly not 33. And that the reason that they were at a higher price point than this competitor is because they were custom designed based on the values that came out of the purpose values retreat that was planned. So I certainly, when I made my vote, didn't understand that we weren't getting an apples to apples comparison on 360s. It was custom 360s based on our values versus off the shelf 360s that were significantly less. that information wasn't there for the council. And I don't know if it never came explicitly from employee strategies, or if it did come and the materials that got to the council didn't include that. But that information came to me after the fact, after we had voted to move forward with the Assessments International. I'm actually feeling fine about spending some money on professional development for our department heads and our supervisors. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we're lying to ourselves if we think that spending this money is going to improve our culture, because this is not what was recommended to improve our culture. It may have that effect, but it's certainly not what was recommended by employee strategies based on our situation. So I would suggest that we don't need to vote on this tonight. If we do vote on it, I would say my answer is no. I would consider just taking the funds that we've already mentally set aside for 360s and turning them back to department heads, and they can use them for professional development however they want. They can use Assessments International, they can use another consultant, they can do something totally different. They know what they need, and we should be investing in our employees. But this action before us is not going to improve our culture the way we had hoped it would.
I think we made a significant investment initially with the insurance. That's certainly, hopefully, is found helpful. Council is, I think, dedicated to do better, to whatever that might mean to folks, but to do better. Council, any more discussion?
Well, I guess I just want to clear one thing up. We didn't go to this Assessments International to save money. It was actually going to cost us more money. We were going to spend more money so that we could do more people, include more leadership positions in the 360s. I guess knowing now that we weren't comparing apples to apples, that the proposal from employee strategies was tailor-made for us, I guess that would have changed some things. And also finding out the real reason why employee strategies doesn't want to work for us.
I think a couple of things from my perspective here is, I think we got to make sure we're operating off of the right set of facts here. First of all, thank you for your statement. I think this is challenging, right? And I think we're all committed to, thank you, Greg. Yeah. I think we're all committed to improving culture, and it requires courageous conversations. And Chad, thank you for being willing to stand up in front of the council and have a courageous conversation. I know that's not easy, and it's very much appreciated. You know, I think hopefully what you've heard is we are committed to improving the culture in Austin. And I would agree with Joyce that this is something that we probably should have done 15 years ago. But, you know, if the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, second best time to plant a tree is today, right? And, you know, progress is not a straight line. You know, progress is messy. We're 3 months into the first time that we've ever done this, right? I think it's, you know, it's not shocking. We're going to have some fits and starts and things like that. And, you know, whether this is the right assessment or the wrong assessment, or I mean, I think it's a worthy conversation, but I think the message that we have to have, and, you know, I think the vast majority of employees who are willing to be constructive do here is that we care and we want to improve things. Doesn't mean we're going to agree on 100% of the things. Doesn't mean that, you know, we're necessarily not going to have some level of conflict sometimes, because we're elected to represent taxpayers and everybody. And, you know, there's times when we've got to make different choices around employees than we'd probably make if it was our own private business, our own money. But, you know, at the end of the day, I commend the people in this room in totality that we are all to a person committed to making progress. We've got to continue to make progress. It's not as good of a process as we would like to have it from this first step, but, you know, I think experiences create beliefs, and it's up to us to make sure we create the right experiences to start to change the beliefs and ultimately the actions and the results that we get.
Thank you, Jason. Anyone else want to weigh in?
I guess I'll sort of echo some of what folks were saying in that I appreciate the well thought out and well written letter from the employees. I appreciate those who are here to kind of represent. I will speak more from, I really can only represent myself on how I vote and how I do things. I'm very disappointed that employee strategies chose to not work with us. I distinctly remember, I wasn't part of the selection committee, but I do remember doing a kind of a council and department head only, first retreat with them a little bit, if you will, and talking about, the survey, and that they said there was, the way they really laid it out is there was going to be a menu of options, and the ones that would work best for Austin, we could sort of pick and choose. I certainly didn't want to change a provider just because to save a buck. As was mentioned, it was actually gonna cost a little more. It was really much more of, I've had experience with 360s. I find them very valuable, and so the more value we could bring to more employees to the city was my intent in making that vote. To that piece, I would say if we want to table this at this point to talk about what other options there might be, I'm okay with that. I still think it's a valuable tool, but if now is not the time or further discussion needs to be had, I would be okay with that.
Jeff, anything?
I think the horse has left the barn on employee strategies, and that is a tragedy. But at the same time, I don't, if there is not buy-in from I'm a fan of this provider and of doing the 360s. I voted that way last council meeting, with good intention, but I don't want to shove something, I don't want to shove $45,000 worth of something down people's throat and create resentment. Let's go back to the well and see if we can figure out a better way to do this.
And with that, I'll make a motion, if everybody's done. I would like to make a motion to table the Assessments International proposal and call for a closed meeting the week of the 27th to evaluate leadership.
I can't make the week of the 27th.
What do you mean, evaluate leadership?
To have a closed session to evaluate the issues that have been brought forth in the survey by the employees. We need to narrow this down.
Joyce, could we separate those two things?
Yep, I don't care how we do it.
Do the table.
Table the, so I'll make a motion to table the assessment, the international assessments proposal.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second, table international assessments. Any further discussion? Looking for a resolution, so Tom, take the roll, please.
Motion by Councilmember Pashusta, second by Councilmember Baker to table the Assessments International evaluations. So an aye vote is in favor of such. Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yep.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 9 is a resolution granting the 2024 off-sale liquor license club on-sale license.
Second
Yeah,
motion
second one.
to that.
Yeah, so my second motion would be to call for a closed meeting the week of the 27th, if everybody's available, to evaluate leadership, in a council session, council closed session.
Second.
Point of order question.
It's not on the agenda.
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
What's the question?
Craig, can we even discuss this? Is it not on the agenda?
Council, two people of the council, or the mayor, or others can call a special meeting. So if the council senses that they want to or need to have a special meeting, what I'm trying to figure out is whether there would be any grounds to have that meeting be closed, but it's not clear to me exactly what it is the intent of the meeting is.
I think
Two separate issues.
personnel evaluations.
Yeah, it's employee involved.
Open meeting.
However we can have this meeting legally is
We're not allowed to discuss employee performance
Right.
publicly by law. Correct? Mr. Byram?
Well, it gets dicey. Closing a meeting for evaluation of a specific employee may be closed. It may be opened if the employee requests it to be opened. So there's lots to navigate there, but I'm not even clear as I sit here what employee it is that we're talking about. We use the word leadership, but when I listen to the materials from the vendor who did the survey, leadership includes y'all. It includes pretty much everyone in this room. It includes department heads. It includes people lower down the food chain. So if you're going to close a meeting for an evaluation of a specified employee, we would need to know who that employee is, not a class of people, I wouldn't think.
So we can make a motion to have a closed meeting regarding a specific employee.
To close a meeting to do an employee evaluation of a specified employee, the public body must identify the individual to be evaluated prior to closing the meeting.
Okay, so, so we'll start at the top, then I'll make a motion to have a closed meeting the week of the 27th to evaluate Craig Clark.
Is there any chance we could not specify the week?
Sure, we don't have to specify the week.
As soon as possible.
There you go.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to have a closed meeting at some point in the future regarding our Administrator Craig Clark. All in favor? I guess it's a resolution. I'm thinking we're going to do it that way. Tom?
Can they just request it, or do we? Craig, do we have to vote on whether we want to have this meeting or not?
That's what this is.
So the calling of a special meeting can be done in a variety of ways. It can be done by administration, it can be done by the mayor, it can be done by 2 members of the council. So
we're voting.
we got 2 with a vote if you'd like.
So
We got 2 that have voted, and then we can vote on that.
2 that have requested it, so we should be able to just move forward with it, right?
Or does there need to be a vote on that?
Right. I would assume.
Then there would,
Is there a hesitation to go on the record with a vote?
I don't know. Is that the way we can handle it though, Craig, with a vote?
well,
on
when
this?
calling the special meeting usually doesn't go through this much, performance or emotions and things of that nature. It's just put on the calendar and we put out the notice. The subject matter and the question of whether it will be closed or not closed is going to be a subject of a vote at that meeting before it's closed, because the council may close it, which suggests that it's your decision. The employee who's being evaluated can also make their own decision on whether they would like it to be closed. So we can call the meeting, we can state the purpose. Let's just leave it open on whether it's going to be closed or not. The meeting will occur either way.
Okay.
So we don't need to vote on this.
It'd be public vote, so everybody knows where
Tim. All right, we will not need to vote on that. We'll just call it sometime in the near future, a meeting, a closed meeting.
Either way, we're gonna clap.
Under item number 9, resolution granting the 2024 off-sale liquor license, club on-sale license, and wine on-sale license. Ann?
These are for our annual early liquor licenses that come through, the clubs, the on sales, and the brewers. So these have to go up to the state, so I would request that you approve these particular licenses via resolution.
Council, any questions on this? Looking for resolution.
So moved.
Second. Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Abstain.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker. Yep. Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0 with 1 abstaining, Your Honor.
Thank you. Item number 10 is resolution approving a voter operations, technology, and elections resource agreement. Ann?
So in the last cycle at the legislature, they allocated $1,250,000 for administration to counties and cities for elections. Moore County received $9,008.58. They get to keep half of it. 25% of it goes to the unit of government that does the absentee voting, which is Moore County. And then 25% of it is allocated based on the share of registered voters. So for our share, that's $1,479.86. Moore County has proposed that they keep that allocation instead of sending it out to each individual entity. The city of Teope gets like $12. It would be a lot of headache behind the scenes just to allocate that all out. So our annual bill is about that much, whether we have an election or not. So we would request you approve that resolution, just allowing them to take that off of our bill from the county.
Council, any questions? Item number 10. If not, looking for resolution approving.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Bashusta.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yes.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Item number 11 is resolution setting the polling locations for 2024 elections. Ann?
And this is just our annual resolution that we have to set the polling locations for each year. Nothing has changed from previous years. The schools are still a great partner, along with the senior center.
Hey, and question for you on this is, I know, and I know you've answered this question. 2020 Holiday Inn, we did that, like, still not feasible to just put it all into one location, right?
No,
Remind me
the
why
only
that's not
reason why
feasible.
2020 worked at the Holiday Inn is because 50% of our voters absentee voted.
Thank you.
We were, we did handle that well at the Holiday Inn then, but that's because half of our voters weren't even there. If all of our voters went to the Holiday Inn, we wouldn't have the staff or the space to accommodate them in a timely manner.
Yeah, makes total sense. Thank you.
And a couple years ago, we got some pushback from the schools about elections, if I recall correctly. And we resolved those issues.
I do believe in looking at the 2024 next fall school calendar, they did make Election Day a school holiday. So I do not believe that they're in session. We still have the presidential primary, which will be in March of this coming year. But we've kind of worked out, our little quirks with the school, and they're a great partner. We love working with them. So, but this kids not being in school is a good thing. It kind of alleviates a lot of issues.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Bashusta.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yep.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Item number 12 is resolution approving a cooperative construction agreement with MnDOT for the I-90 bridge replacement project. Stephen?
At the last work session, we reviewed in detail work that is going to go into the bridge replacement project along I-90. This is a 3-year project beginning in 2024 and taking through 2026. It identified improvements that the city had requested, and there are costs associated with those as well. I'll just run through the cost quickly. 4th Street Northwest reconstruction, $506. These are estimated costs. The actual project is bidding on December 1st. MnDOT will then evaluate all the costs and update these cost estimates for us. But 4th Street Northwest is estimated at $506,086.70. A sanitary sewer replacement under Highway 218 North is $66,130. Our community sign is estimated at $139,300. 4th Street signal light, our portion of that is $58,288.32. And construction, engineering, and admin, which is spread out across all of those items, is estimated at $58,277.90. So a total estimated city cost is $828,082.92. And we have funds in place from our municipal state aid fund, our sanitary sewer user fund, also the Hormel Foundation, a grant from them. So we have funds in place to fund this work as currently estimated. The only change from what we reviewed at the last work session is in our favor, in that power for the new signal light will be shared 50-50 between the city and county. The city will get billed 100%, and then we'll invoice the county for half of that. Also, any minor signal maintenance that would occur also is shared 50-50 between the city and county. Again, if this maintenance is completed by MnDOT, city pays the bill, and we bill county for 50%. So that is the only change. So with that, I would request approval of the cooperative construction agreement.
Council, any questions, Mr. Lang? Look for resolution for item number 12.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Sure.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Item number 13 is resolution approving a bench agreement with U.S. Bench Corps. Stephen?
This company has benches located in 15 spots around town. They are used for people that may be waiting for a bus, getting rest after a walk. The bench company receives advertisements on these benches. They have recently replaced many of the 15 throughout our community. In front of you tonight is a continuation of another 2-year agreement that we've been working with this company for many years. It generates $36 per year per bench. Over the course of 2 years, it's a $1,080 revenue source.
Thank you, Stephen. Council, any questions?
Stephen, quick question for you. Would it make sense for us to maybe table this and talk about it last time? I know we were having a conversation over the weekend around, the value of $1 today is like 38 cents less than it was in 2010. Obviously, the rates that they're generating for advertising have gone up. And I know you were waiting for information back from them in terms of, does maybe a higher rate make sense? Would that totally blow everything up, or would that be?
If I did the calculation right based on those numbers, this $36 rate is what was agreed upon back in 2010. As Mr. Baskin mentioned, if you include inflation with that, it should be around $58 a bench. I don't know if that's what they're paying in other communities. They have a long list of communities that they listed on there. As council member mentioned, I did make a call to this company today, but the representative is off this week, so I was not able to get any feedback on that question.
The quote isn't right? You don't think the quote might be inaccurate?
It's accurate based on the number that we've agreed to year after year after year. Should we be asking for something more, I think is the question. And it's not a time-sensitive issue. If council chooses to table this until next meeting, it would give me a couple weeks to hear back. Well, give me 1 week because the representative will be off 1 week, but hope to try and reach them before the next council meeting. That's the desire.
I think tabling might give you a little more juice in that conversation, so I would make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Resolution. Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
You bet.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Motion to table passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thanks, Tom. Item number 14 is accepting these donations for the city of Austin, a $1,100 gift from the Bernice and Walter Conkin family for a park bench, and $46,000 from the Friends of the J.C. Hormel Nature Center for the Star Lab unit. We thank them for their contribution and need a resolution to accept them.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yep.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Item number 15 is resolution approving Austin Youth Hockey's off-sale gambling license for bingo at the Austin Country Club. Need a resolution.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Sure.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Item number 16 is resolution approving a business development public infrastructure grant. Craig?
Thank you, Mayor, members. The Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development has a grant program called Business Development Public Infrastructure Grant. You may remember that we were successful in getting a federal Economic Development Administration grant for half the cost of the 27th Avenue extension in Creekside Business Park. This is a resolution in support of going after matching grant funds for that. This would be the other 50% that we're otherwise required to come up with locally for the federal grant. We need council approval of the resolution included in Exhibit 2. Happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Looking for resolution approving the business development.
So moved.
Infrastructure grant.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yes.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Item number 17 is motion and ordinance reviewing the rezoning ordinance request. Holly?
Number 17, items 17 and 18 both pertain to the same property owned by John Riles in Austin. During the November 14th Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed a request to rezone the property from the petitioner. Petitioner requested to rezone the property from an I-1 light industrial district to an RO residential office district, and to amend our future land use plan from industrial to mixed high density residential. Residential office is a less intensive use and is complementary to the existing uses in the neighborhood. The Planning Commission, with 7 members present, recommends approval of the rezoning request unanimously. The findings of fact that the Planning Commission made was that the use is more compatible with the surrounding uses and zoning, and that there are no significant impacts anticipated with regard to the existing infrastructure and surrounding environment. And then this rezoning action is taken by ordinance. For approval of this request, the vote must be unanimous for the first reading of the ordinance. If it fails, the second reading must be by 2/3 vote.
Thank you, Holly. Council, any questions? Looking for a motion for 17A, preparation of the ordinance.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 17B for adoption and publication of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
You bet.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. And 18A is reviewing a variance request from John Riles and either approve or deny. For 18A, I need a motion.
Yeah, and this was based on the property being rezoned to RO, so the setback requirements were for the RO district. The petitioner wants to convert an existing garage to offices and then replace the garage as a new addition to attach the existing building, because the existing building sits almost on the property line and probably pre-existed our zoning ordinance. He's requesting an 8-foot variance from the 25-foot setback. The property is approximately a half an acre, and with the proposed addition, the total lot coverage would be about 30%. 60% is the maximum allowed. Planning Commission, with 7 members present, recommended approving the variance contingent upon approval of the rezone. The Planning Commission made the following findings with regard to this request: that the variance is in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the zoning ordinance, that the variance, if granted, would not alter the essential character of the locality in which the property is situated, that there are circumstances unique to the property not created by the landowner, and that the landowner intends to use the land in a reasonable manner not permitted by the ordinance. That's all I got.
Thank you, Holly. Council, any questions? Looking for a motion approving or denying 18A.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 19 is resolution approving a plat for Cook Farm Business Park 4th Edition. Holly?
Yeah, this was the last item that the Planning Commission reviewed at our November 14th meeting. They reviewed the Cook Farm Business Park 4th plat related to an EDA grant for infrastructure improvement, which was, I think, just talked about, located in the Creekside Business Park. The area consists of 1 lot, which is delineating the area of improvement as required by the grant. After review, the Planning Commission, with 7 members present, voted unanimously to recommend approval of the preliminary plat and final plat to council. That's it.
Thank you, Holly. Council, any questions? Looking for resolution for 19?
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yep.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 20 is reviewing a floodplain ordinance update. Holly?
Yeah, so this is another letter of map revision that we will adopt. Would like to adopt into our floodplain ordinance. It's the final step in the process required by FEMA to remove property protected by a berm or levee, in this instance near Cedar River and Mill Pond. Take that property out of the floodplain. The property is primarily impacted by removal are along Main Street and 4th Avenue. Areas outside the special flood hazard area are not subject to special development restrictions based on the city's floodplain ordinance. And so even though the work for the berm was done some time ago, the current floodplain map shows areas still in the floodplain that are actually not, but this process has to be gone through to formally take that area out of the floodplain. So now it'll follow that berm. Once this map becomes effective, and it will be effective February 1st, 2024. And then we will provide this information about the ordinance adoption to the Minnesota DNR for final stamp of approval.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions for Holly? Looking for a motion for 20A, preparation of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 20B is an ordinance for adoption of the ordinance.
So moved.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yep.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tom. Item number 20C is a resolution for summary publication of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Baskin.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Pashusta.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Postma.
Aye.
Baker.
Yep.
Councilmember at Large Austin.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. On to citizens addressing the council. Are there any citizens in the audience looking to address the council on items that weren't on the agenda?
Yes.
Tim? Podium and name and address, please.
Evening. Tim Sorgine, Austin, Minnesota, 507-438-8069. I was here to ask if you have come to any resolution about the reconvening of the task force meeting that we have had for so many years. Have there been any plans made to reconvene?
Not that this is a city council issue, Tim, but the county drug task force has been disbanded, and there is something new in its place, the opiate commission that's been meeting. So no, there's no reconvening of a drug task force. We switched
How was
gears.
that decided? Was there a vote?
No, that's not, it wasn't a vote, Tim. It's not for a vote.
So,
Thank you.
so the meeting that has
There's
been,
not reconvening of a drug
Yes.
task force, Tim.
all these different administrations is now just all of a sudden
There's not.
disbanded because,
This was a group of individuals in the profession that were, just got together in an ad hoc form, not into any kind of elected form. And it was just part of the doing business for the community around drug issues. Now there's a new issue, or new money, and the county has taken on that money to provide assistance in how to deal with the opioid.
it seems that by disbanding that meeting, it discredits any other concerns that have been continuing on for many administrations. And now that there's such an ambiguous set of rules that you can't make any determination on what's right and wrong. And so that hurts the people.
Thank you for your perspective, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
And,
Tim, I think we're good. We've given you your time. Thank you.
oh,
Thank you.
sure.
Yep, we're moving on. Honorary council member comments. On.
Nothing to comment.
Thank you. Reports and recommendations. Craig?
Thank you, Mayor. We're finishing up the reference check process on the finalists for the Park and Rec Director, and we're hopeful to have a public announcement soon on that. We also have the city-county meeting tomorrow to look at the public safety needs assessment. That'll be at 4 p.m. at the county shop there in room 549. I put the printout that you'd received previously on your desk tonight. SEH will walk through that report and then have general discussion from there, so. Otherwise, Mr. Dankert has an item.
Just to let council know, the capital improvement plan and the truth and taxation documents for the budget are on the website under the finance department, so we wanted to make sure we got that out in plenty of time for our citizens and council to see that. So again, have any questions, you can let me know. And then also on the next council meeting, we'll be asking council to formally approve a resolution for the Hormel Foundation grants for 2024 that was released this morning. Individually to us, it was released Saturday in the newspaper, but Austin is receiving just under $600,000 worth of Hormel Foundation contributions for many projects. All the projects but one got either fully or partially funded that was on your list of requests. So thank you to the foundation.
Thank you, is right. Thanks, Tom. Truth and
huge
taxation
thank
is
you.
when? Truth and taxation reminder, Tom?
December 6th, 6 o'clock, is it the 6th? Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Jason, you had something?
I'll wait my turn.
Okay.
Sorry. I was literally next.
On to council comments. You just said yours. I think you're good. Next meeting is your last one, December 6th. All right. We're going to miss you if we can't find a replacement for you. Joyce?
Just a big, huge thank you to the fire department for including us in the controlled house burn yesterday. That was super, it was very fascinating and very, very insightful. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Joyce. Paul?
Yes, thanks, Chief McCoy, and to your staff. A lot of those guys were off duty that came in. Some of them were shift was ending. They stayed the day. Throughout the day as we did this, you and your staff were very informative of watching a fire, what the flame looks like, how it acts, the smoke, and how that acts, and where you guys, go into a fire, and just, I learned a lot. And that gained that much more respect for what you do, even though we were in the house for a short time when our burns. It was a little scary. So knowing what you guys face, it was a great experience for me, and to just gain that much more respect for what you guys do, and thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Jason?
Echo everything Joyce and Paul said. I mean, just thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the work that the team did. We obviously appreciate the work that the fire department does, and I really appreciated the opportunity to understand it a little bit better. And I think as we have conversations around budgets and staffing and, different needs and things like that, it's just a game changer to be able to understand even a small microcosm of, what some of the challenges and logistics are that you guys deal with. And so thank you for that opportunity, and thank you for everything that you do. Great experience. Chief McKeegan and the police department, thank you for the invitation that you sent out to council to do ride-alongs. So looking forward to doing my first one on Wednesday night. So night before Thanksgiving should be an interesting experience. And so always appreciate, the work that you guys do as well, and the opportunity to spend some time with your officers. And then thank you, Tom, Craig, department heads, for all the work that goes into the Hormel Foundation grants. I know there's a lot of time and energy and thought that goes into what we put forward, how we put it forward. It's not just filling out the details of the grants, but it's also the really thinking about, here's how this is going to help us strategically improve as a community. We're incredibly lucky to have the Hormel Foundation, and know there's a tremendous amount of work and leadership that goes in. So thank you for the work there. And then finally, from a Port Authority standpoint, Representative Mueller mentioned it, but the big thing that we're working on at this point is we did pass a unanimous letter of support for the Minnesota Bioimaging Center for that bonding request. So the Port Authority is actually quote unquote own, right, Tom? Correct me if I'm wrong. A good chunk of the Hormel Institute in terms of at least being the fiscal agent. We will leave it to the scientists and the people who are much smarter about those things to actually run it. But because of that, a lot of it ends up going through the port. And so, the way that they are thinking about not just the work that they're doing today, but, doubling the size and the huge impact it could have on cancer research, on attracting businesses to our community, on, you know, positively impacting K-12. And we've just got a gem in the Hormel Institute. And so we will continue to proudly support it as a Port Authority and continue to work to get them where they need to get to.
Excellent. Thanks, Jason. Jeff?
Yes, just like to say thank you to the Hormel the Hormel Foundation for their generosity and their donations to the city, along with all city staff that were involved in putting those together and getting that money for the citizens. Also, the library board did meet since our last meeting. A couple highlights from that is the board authorized use of Walter Wenke funds for leasing 6 laptops to use for an interactive digital literacy program that will be used for persons of all ages to learn more about computer use, internet use, all kinds of things, so they're more literate with their digital interactivity. They also are looking at expanding the library hours. More on that to come.
Excellent. Thanks, Jeff.
Cliffhanger.
2 things. Ann, can you send out a calendar placeholder on the truth and taxation, please? Second, you know, I think you also have my notes on the time that we spent with firefighters. Circling back on some of the survey items, not always a fun conversation to have, but certainly enjoyed the candor and the input. Hopefully, we can all participate in more of these over the next couple weeks. They're good things to do. That's it.
Thanks, Jeff. Mike?
Got a few things. I actually have the privilege to continue what Councilwoman Helly started and read our anniversaries for our city staff for November. So bear with me, I have practiced these, but I may still get a last name wrong. So first up is Pat Rederath, Police Department, 25 years. Ryan Leaf, also with the Police Department for 23 years. Mark Walski with the Police Department for 23 years. Chris Gunawak with the Fire Department for 18 years. Tom Schulte with the Fire Department for 17 years. Michael Hartman with the Police Department for 14 years. Pat Guinea with the Street Department for 9 years. Jeremy Wangen with Sewer Maintenance for 8 years. Pat Walter, Crossing Guard for 7 years. Brent Johnson, Planning and Zoning for 6 years. Ryan McCormick, Austin Police Department for 5 years, and Josh Bradley with Austin Police Department for 5 years. So all of that combined is 160 years of service, and we very much appreciate that. I want to thank the fire department as well for an amazing house burn demonstration. Kudos to all of those that went in the house. I wasn't quite that crazy, but I enjoyed watching all of the work that they did. Thank you to the Hormel Foundation. We get the privilege to annually request things that we think would make the city be better, and annually they reward us with generosity, and we do not take that lightly or for granted. A couple updates from Discover Austin that I'm excited to share. Some of you might be familiar with the Austin Public Schools CEO program. The CEO program is actually kind of a national thing, and we will be hosting their conference in June 2024 right here in Austin, Minnesota. And we are also, for the first year this year, just found out we will be hosting Gopher State Baseball, which is a youth large baseball event. Just to kind of give you an idea as to how we're punching at or above our weight, a city our size. The other places that they will be hosting their tournaments based on, you know, how old the baseball youth leagues are is Duluth, Brainerd, St. Cloud, Mankato, and Rochester. So pretty excited to add Austin to that list of cities. Great work that Discover Austin is doing, bringing more things to town. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mike. Laura?
Yeah, I'm going to take my time tonight and just talk about a concerning narrative that I have heard from city leaders. This is both on the administration side and elected side about our employees. It's not really my style to call people out. I usually try to be a team player, but I'm very concerned about a narrative that I hear that our employees will never be satisfied no matter what we do, that they just complain no matter what. that they say on the survey that they're going to leave their jobs, but they really won't leave. I hear this from our leadership, and I'm very concerned, and I feel like I have to call it out and say it is simply not true. Our employees are smart, they're hardworking, they care about the community, they're focused on serving. What they're asking for is not unreasonable. They're not asking for a 4-day work week or triple vacation time. They're asking for respect, communication, appreciation, honesty, and integrity. We can deliver on that, but we have to stop defending ourselves. We have to stop reframing. We have to listen to employees, believe what they're saying, look at our own part in creating this situation. I think we have to address power struggles that have gone on as long as I've been involved in the city, and they undermine every good thing that we try to do. And I just, as I said, I like to be a team player. I don't want to criticize other people, but we have to start calling it out when we're lying to ourselves about what the problems are. I would call on the council and the mayor to keep moving forward. I think we need to focus on getting a purpose and values retreat on the calendar. I don't know who's gonna provide that service for us, but I think we need to move forward on it. It's very important. I think that we need to see a wellness committee get off the ground. It should not take weeks and months to do these things. And then finally, I'm calling on the council to push ourselves and the other leaders in the city to follow those values of respect, communication, appreciation, honesty, and integrity. That's it.
Thank you, Laura. My only comments are, Craig and I spent some time at our conference for the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, and my takeaway is Austin is a high-flying city. There's a lot going on here. Tonight's meeting is very clear of how we move the needle and where we continue to move forward. Certainly, like any other city, there's issues. There's issues here. I think the main thing is communication, but we are getting a lot done. And yes, we can do better. Yes, we have some things to work on. But when I go around to the other parts of the state and hear what's going on, Austin is absolutely a high-flying city with a lot of things going on, and that's due in large part, and the only part, because of the employees and what we are able to get done with such a lean staff. And I think to sometimes that's a detriment, that we are actually too lean. But for the amount of the small staff we do have and the size of our city, we continue to show great growth, and we are absolutely doing a lot of work. Again, recognize that we have more to do as far as the communication between leadership and council and departments and employees, and I'm willing to take that challenge on. We all have good days and bad days, and sometimes things are said in a different way than they shouldn't be. I beg forgiveness on everybody that I've ever come across where on a bad day I might have said things I might not have really meant, but we're doing great work. It's unfortunate that we do have some pretty large obstacles in our path right now, but I'm convinced we can get through them, so thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn to Monday, December 4th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries. We're adjourned for a 5-minute break or so, and we'll start the work session.